Now, the West African Examination Council says it cannot be blamed for mass leakage of exam questions on social media as it mounts a strong defense and touts its strict security protocols before and after the printing of exam questions. Now, responding to growing calls and concerns from the general public and some stakeholders in the education sector about in the ongoing WASSCE, Head of Public Relations at WAEC, Agnes Kujo, said her organization can only take responsibility for the leaked contact details of examiners and not the questions. She spoke earlier in an interview with Roland Walker on the AM show.
No, I think that with the issue of the examiners, it was circulated on social media, and we need to find out how it got there, and then that will help us with our investigation. Because if it is from it's an in-house, so I think we want to get to the fact.
Now, at the West African Examination Council, is it the first time that there has been this mass leakage of papers?
I will not accept what you're saying because we have not said that anything has leaked. So if you say the papers, I don't know what you're talking about. If you talk about the fact that the examiner's list has gone out, yes. But when you talk about leakage of papers, no. It's taken to being all under security. I will not be able to tell you the kind of security. And then all under strict security. We do typesetting, we do proofreading. Then papers are printed. So under very, very tight security to have standards there at the press. You know, we have our cameras. People are not even allowed to take in their, wristwatches, anything. You know, very tight security. You are searched before you enter. You don't take mobile. You don't take anything. And those who enter the printing room, when you enter, you don't come out till you have finished for the day. You know, everything is done at the very time. So from there, it's going to the post, so it is printed, it's parceled, it's packed. And then we go to where we call packing, where it's packed according to the number of candidates. And then there are bags in security bags. We have our security padlock. Then we send it to the depots, what they are to the school, come and pick them from the depot or the strong room and to the center.
Would you agree that the inability of the council, the West African Examination Council, to adopt some of the tightest security encryptive technology has led to this situation?
I would not agree with you because it is not our inability to adopt tighter encrypted technology. That is not.
But we have a
now, if I hand over something to you, and after I've handed over something to you, snapshots are taken. I don't think it is tighter encrypted security. I think investigations are going on, so I think I'll leave it there.
Now, the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, earlier called for a national probe into the leakage of exam papers. The minority in Parliament is also calling for the cancellation of the leaked papers, but the president of NAT, Philippa Larson, says cancelling the questions does not address the annual problem of leaked questions. We will hear from her shortly, but what do you make of this phenomenon, popularly known as APO, and how do we deal with it? My colleague, Manuel Kranting, has been speaking to some students and a teacher at the Action Progressive Institute here in Accra.
Tell me, what exactly do you know about APO? I know when you're coming to senior high school, there were talks about APO gets leaked and so on and so forth. Tell me about that.
Personally, in this school, we were not encouraged to rely on any source apart from the creator and our teachers. We were encouraged to learn day in and day out and strive to meet our ultimate goals in life. So I personally wasn't dependent on anything while I was preparing for my examination because I told day in and out to make my parents proud and my school proud as well, and to also make myself proud. So I didn't depend on any person for APO or any other thing.
But you got to hear about it, right?
It's a rumor that was passing around, like students, high schoolers, teenagers. We talk, we say stuff, but personally in this school, we weren't encouraged to rely on any of that.
Portia, tell me what you saw on social media. The papers got leaked. Tell me about what you saw.
Actually, there were rumors, but I personally didn't see the questions. And even if it came, I didn't see it. I heard people talking about it and stuff, but I didn't see it.
Do you think it's fair though. You all three of you have been talking about not seeing the papers. Well, you are saying it, I don't know. You've not seen the papers, but the word out there is that the paper got leaked, and a lot of people, I've received the paper and I've written it. In fact, a lot of well-meaning Ghanaians are calling for the papers to be cancelled. Are you aware of that?
Okay, I was ahead of that one, but for me, the cancel it, I wouldn't like it because I suffered. I stayed up throughout the night to study. So if they cancel it, I'll be affected.
If they cancel it, you'll be affected. Let me go back to Najat. Najat, people are asking that the papers be cancelled. Well, you say you didn't see it, but some people saw it and they've used it. And they're asking, well-meaning Ghanaians, are asking that the papers be cancelled. How do you receive that?
Well, to look at it from a certain perspective, it would be all right if the papers get cancelled. But on the other view too, it would be really unfair on the part of some of us because we suffered to stay up at night, burn the midnight candle to write our examinations. People got it on a silver platter and they wrote. That's good for them. For us too, it's good for us because the Lord is with us. So I think it should really be unfair if they cancel the papers because we really suffered to make it.
You suffered to make it, but others didn't suffer. You don't think that it's only fair that they make it a level playing ground for you to earn what you indeed suffered for? If you indeed really learned to go and write, what's the hassle? Just go and sit down and write again.
Yeah, we're really going to sit back and write again, but we spent a lot, we really invested our time into this, and we all have things to do with our time, resources were put into printing the papers, paying invigilators and examiners, going to do all that process again. Just think about the funds too as well.
If you think about the funds as well. Godfred, I'll come back to Matthew. Matthew is their master and he teaches financial accounting. I'll come back to Matthew in a jiffy. But Godfred, the ladies say that it will be unfair for WAEC to cancel the exams which got leaked. What says you?
As for me, I would like to bring up a point. When the exam is cancelled, what assurance do we have that the next paper won't get leaked? Because we know that every time papers get leaked and people get it to write, and some of us who don't get it become the victim. So as for me, if they will ensure that the next papers won't get leaked, then they can cancel it. But if they think they can't protect it enough, then I think they should maintain it.
No, let me pick the perspective of a teacher. What they have been talking about, they burning the midnight candles, learning, going for prep and so on. For you as a teacher, what will the cancellation mean to you?
Okay, so the cancellation also comes at its own disadvantage to masters, where masters would have to reinvest their time and energy teaching the students again. Probably that's their job, but time cannot be redeemed once lost. Yes, so that's my perspective as well.
But is that a fair perspective though? Because if you have, for instance, a responsibility to cover 13 topics before WASSCE, and as confident as you've been speaking, you cover all these 13 topics, and they go and write, and they cancel the paper. What's the big deal? It's just about going to sit down and write it again. No?
Psychologically, the students will be affected. And you need a sound mind to write exams. You should know that. So you would have to psych them up again and ginger them. That is if they cancel the paper, to go and write the paper again. That's.
I also spoke to the director of Action Progressive Institute, who says both WAEC and GES are complicit in this practice, and it has very little has been done to address the menace.
It's not a surprise at all. It has been there for years. MPP, NDC, I want us to put even the politics aside. WAEC is safe. I have a problem with them. Because over the years, there are instances that I personally have taken it upon myself to challenge. But it seems nothing is coming out. Some years back, one of my administrators told me that I should be careful. Because even when you go forward, you will end up exposing yourself for somebody to take you up. Because every year, you get programs concern the leaking of examination questions. Innocent people at times are punished. At times they cancel a results of schools. But the source who is actually bringing these questions out, because I don't work there, and the parents are not working there, the students are not working there. At the end of the day, they may arrest some students. At times, they cancel results of schools. I'm not against that. But my own problem is that, why don't you trace it to the main source where this problem is coming from? Last 2 years, I got information from somebody that he was having the questions even with the marking scheme. And if I'm prepared, he can come and you do business about that. In fact, I happened to meet the whole boss of GS. He came to my school when the private schools association met him. I told him that I still have the number on my phone. So it has been a business, big time business. And people are supporting it. So it is time for the education minister to sit down with the WAEC boss and find out, trace it to the main source, that who is behind it. I tell you that I run this remedial school for 24 years now. And students don't learn because they are very certain that they can get the questions.
Staying a bit longer on the sort of responsibility that WAEC and then the GS have. You've mentioned that the parents don't work at WAEC, and yourself, and by extension, a lot of the teachers don't work there. So it's WAEC.
Who is bringing the question on social media? Because that is what I heard. A student was bold enough to tell me yesterday that the questions were on social media. Can't WAEC trace it? Can't GS trace it to get the end point where this thing is coming?
We can now hear from the president of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, Philippa Larson, who does not agree with the idea of cancelling leaked papers.
Roland is so worrying, and if we are not careful, this issue is going to become an annual ritual. Over the years, we have had issues where examination papers have leaked, and all we have done is just to cancel the examination papers. Now, there are certain things that we have to look at. Once we do, or once we cancel examination papers, we should know that all these things go with cost, the financial implications, the time, labor, and all that. And so it's just not enough to say that you are canceling the examination papers. There should be a thorough investigation into all that and get to the root cause of the issue. It is something that we have to kill. It's not just a matter of canceling the papers. And people will have to be brought to book. People who are found culpable will have to be punished. Over the years, we have not had any information about people who, from wherever, who have had hand in it and have been punished. And I think this is the time we all have to look at it and do the right thing, get to the root cause of it and punish people so that we kill this thing once and for all.
Now, the cybersecurity unit of the Ghana Police Service is currently investigating the matter following growing demands for a bipartisan probe into the matter. The latest call has come from the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition, and I have that statement with me now. It says the coalition is alarmed by recurring reports of leakage of examination papers and names of examiners in the ongoing West Africa Senior School Certificate Examinations, WASSCE. It is our view that it is time to find a permanent solution to this perennial issue to preserve the credibility of the examinations conducted by the West Africa Examinations Council. Now, 2 weeks ago, WAEC sought to reassure stakeholders with regards to its vigilance and measures taken to ensure the smooth conduct of WASSCE for school candidates. It indicated that it had alerted the Bureau of National Investigations, BNI, Criminal Investigations Department, CID of the police, and the National Security about the threats posed by rogue websites and WhatsApp groups. This was reported in the Daily Graphic of 3rd August 2020. Now, the Ghana Education Service, on the other hand, dismissed the allegations as fake and assured the public that all efforts were being made to track those behind the purported leaked fake paper. Notwithstanding, the statement says, we have been hit again by allegations of copies of answered examination papers, such as social studies, core mathematics, and chemistry practical examinations circulating on social media platforms, and the same questions appearing in ongoing examinations. Now, we therefore call on WAEC and GES, this is where the recommendations come, to provide a detailed report on the measures taken to prevent leakage of the 2020 WASSCE examination papers. 2, explain the cause of frequent breaches of WAEC's examination system, leading to a report of leakage every year, despite several assurances from the body. And 3, allow for an independent investigation to unearth and eliminate permanently the cabal behind examination leakages in the country. As you might imagine, this particular story has captured a lot of attention on social media. Let's read a few of your comments there. Nana Kwesi says, cancel the papers, let them take a reset. WAEC is a suspect. What this means is that no institutions across the globe would accept WASSCE certificates for this batch if WAEC does not redeem its image. Tamanja Job says, in the past, anytime papers were leaked, WAEC always cancelled it, and a different set of questions were brought up for students to write. What has changed this time round? Is this institution too being compromised? What at all is going on? Bako Alasan says, as for the integrity of WAEC, they have lost it since. It's high time something serious or a serious stance is taken about their activities before they plunge this country into a mess. Let's read a few more comments. William Deborah says, well, that's very strong words for WAEC. Bae Jeremiah says, the head of WAEC should have resigned by now. The innocent students should be punished. All those at WAEC, including the laborers and watchmen, should be arrested and prosecuted immediately. Very strong recommendation there from Bae Jeremiah. Uxio Arnold Huntington says, good move by WAEC. Your own people leak the questions. Watch and scrutinize them well.